You booked the cruise for the turquoise water and the white sand. You didn't book it to end up in a level 4 travel warning. But in 2026, 3 wars, 2 collapsed governments, and a cartel siege later, the map has changed. Ports that were on every bucket list just 2 years ago are now flagged "Do Not Travel" by the U.S. State Department. Others have been quietly dropped from itineraries. No announcement, no explanation. And the scariest part? The most dangerous port on this list is probably sitting right there on your booking confirmation. We are starting at the top, rank number 1. And this isn't just a warning. It's a closure in everything but name. For years, Labadee, Haiti was the crown jewel of Royal Caribbean. A private peninsula, fenced, guarded, marketed as perfectly safe. Zip lines, beaches, private security everywhere. But outside that fence, Haiti was collapsing. By late 2024 and throughout 2025, gang violence and political instability reached a point that could no longer be ignored. The U.S. State Department now lists all of Haiti as Level 4, Do Not Travel. That is the highest warning level that exists. It doesn't mean be careful, it means do not go. Even though Labadee itself is heavily secured, the situation around it has become too unstable. Cruise lines don't want the liability. Insurance companies don't want the risk. So sailings are canceled, ports are skipped, and itineraries are quietly rerouted. If you see Labadee on a 2026 itinerary, do not get attached. There is a very high chance it will become a sea day instead. Number 2 is a tragedy for anyone who remembers cruising in the 80s and 90s. Acapulco, Mexico. This was once the glamour port. Movie stars, cliff divers, the Love Boat era luxury. Today, Acapulco sits inside the Mexican state of Guerrero, and Guerrero is under a full U.S. State Department Do Not Travel advisory due to crime and kidnapping. Some cruise lines still dock here, and that's where travelers get trapped. The tourist zone looks safe, heavily policed, controlled. But step just 2 blocks outside that zone or take the wrong taxi, and you are in cartel territory. This is not a port for independent exploration. If your ship stops in Acapulco, you have 2 smart options. Take a ship-sponsored excursion or stay on board and enjoy an empty ship. This is not the day to wander and see what happens. Number 3 is a bucket list destination with a secret many first-timers don't expect. Colón, Panama. You go here for the Panama Canal, and the canal is incredible, but the city of Colón itself has one of the highest crime rates in the region, and here's a telling detail. Crew members, people who travel the world for a living, often refuse to get off the ship in Colón. Muggings and snatch-and-grab robberies happen right outside the port gates. This isn't cartel violence. It's desperation. Do not walk into town. Do not wear jewelry. Do not flash phones or cash. See the canal. Get back on the ship. That's the safe play here. Number 4 is heartbreaking because it is stunningly beautiful. Roatan, Honduras. Yes, the island is safer than the Honduran mainland, but that creates false security. You relax. You drop your guard. And that's when problems happen. If you dock at Coxon Hole, the pressure starts immediately. Aggressive vendors, unregulated taxis, isolated tour routes. There have been armed robberies of tour buses and tourists on remote beaches. The rule for Roatan is simple. Stay with crowds. Use certified tours. This is not the place to rent a scooter and explore. Number 5. You know it. You love it. Montego Bay, Jamaica. Jamaica frequently sits at level 3. Reconsider travel. The issue here isn't just crime. It's persistent aggression toward tourists. No is not always accepted. Outside resort zones, harassment can escalate quickly. And if you engage with the wrong person selling party favors, situations can turn dangerous fast. Stay in resort areas and ship excursions, and you'll have a great day. Wander into neighborhoods alone, and you are on your own. Number 6 is Belize City, not the jungle, not the ruins. The city. The cruise port is a walled tourism village with armed guards for a reason. The south side of Belize City has serious gang activity. This is dangerous only for the DIY traveler. Book a cave tour or Mayan ruins, and you're perfectly safe. Try walking into town from the port, and you are taking unnecessary risk. There is nothing to see there that is worth it. And finally, number 7. The most controversial port on the list. Nassau, Bahamas. It's listed as level 2. Exercise increased caution. And the danger here is complacency. Because everyone goes to Nassau, people stop paying attention. Petty theft, tourist scams, unregulated jet ski operators. The U.S. Embassy has issued warnings about assaults near the fish fry area and on isolated beaches. Nassau isn't Florida. Treat it differently. Front pocket your wallet. Skip the jet skis. Stay in well-lit areas.
Cruise lines sell you the dream of a secluded beach and a cultural adventure. The reality? 3,000 people fighting for one chair and a 4-hour bus ride to spend 20 minutes at a jewelry store. I've been on dozens of these excursions over the years. Some were incredible, but 7 specific types I now avoid like the plague. And today, I'm saving you $1,000 and probably a sunburn too. The brochure calls it a cultural island tour. You imagine winding roads through lush mountains, local villages, authentic food, a real taste of the destination. Here's what actually happens. You spend 4 hours on a bus. You get 20 minutes at a scenic overlook where everyone takes the same photo. And then the bus pulls into a partner jewelry store or carpet factory where you spend 90 minutes being aggressively sold to while the driver collects his kickback in the back room. You aren't seeing culture. You're a captive audience for a sales pitch on a bus you can't leave. The smarter move? Hop on, hop off bus. Every major cruise port has one now. They synchronize with ship schedules. You get the same scenic route with commentary. You jump off wherever looks interesting. You jump back on when you're done. $10 to $15 per person instead of $80. And 0 jewelry stores unless you choose to walk into one yourself. This is the bucket list item. Grandkids love it. Couples love it. The photos look magical. The reality is less magical. Those pools are often overcrowded, and the water quality is questionable at best. For anyone over 55, or anyone with compromised immune systems, skin conditions, or open cuts, it's a genuine health risk. We're talking stagnant water shared with dozens of strangers and several large marine mammals in a confined space. And then there are the growing ethical concerns. Multiple animal welfare organizations have flagged these facilities. The tide is turning on captive dolphin experiences worldwide. Do you really want a bacterial infection on day 3 of your cruise? Or the guilt of supporting something the world is moving away from? The alternative? Book a whale or dolphin watching boat tour in open water. You'll see them in their natural habitat. The photos are better, the experience is more memorable, and you won't need antibiotics afterwards. The excursion says secluded pristine beach. That sounds incredible. Private paradise, crystal water, Instagram gold. But secluded means no facilities, no restrooms, no shade structures, no food vendors, nothing but sand and sun for 4 hours. For anyone in the 55 plus demographic, when you are term oin sa tiamd, awananor or igawing for a son, still was neurorini who drinks water and needs a bathroom more than once every 4 hours. This is a deal breaker. Rustic is code for dig a hole. And that's not an exaggeration. I've been on one of these. That is literally what happened. Before you book any beach excursion, check the description for the words, facilities available. If those words aren't there, assume the worst. Book a resort day pass instead. Sites like Resort Pass let you access hotel pools and beaches for $30 to $60. You get chairs, shade, clean restrooms, a bar, and actual human infrastructure. Same beach day. 0 survival skills required. Unlimited rum punch and snorkeling. Sounds like the perfect Caribbean afternoon. Here's the part they don't photograph. Getting on and off a bobbing catamaran from deep water requires climbing a narrow metal ladder while waves slam the hull sideways. If you're not 25 and athletic, this ladder is your worst enemy. Bad knees, bad back, any mobility limitation whatsoever. This is where the day goes wrong. And the snorkeling, you're looking at dead coral with 50 other people kicking you in the face, while the rum punch works its magic on everyone's coordination. The smarter play? Book a glass-bottom boat tour. You see the same marine life without getting wet, or find a calm beach snorkel spot through a local operator where you wade in from shore. No ladders, no deep water entry, no drunk strangers stepping on your fins. You're at Coco Cay or Half Moon Cay. You see the cabanas. They look gorgeous. $500 for a private shaded paradise with a dedicated server bringing you drinks and food. Now here's what that $500 actually buys you. The food is the same free food from the main buffet, just carried to you on a tray. The drinks are the same drinks from the bar, just delivered. You are paying $500 for shade you could have gotten under a free umbrella if you'd walk 20 minutes further down the beach. The hack? Arrive early. Walk past the first cluster of chairs where everyone stops. Go further. There are always free umbrellas and loungers available if you're willing to walk an extra 5 minutes. You just saved $500 and got the same breeze, the same view, and the same rum punch. Pompeii. Tulum. The old city of Dubrovnik. These sound like once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and they can be, if you do them right. The cruise line version? A 2-hour bus ride each way, 45 minutes of walking on uneven cobblestones in 95-degree heat, with no shade. A guide with a flag walking so fast that half the group can't keep up while the other half is desperately looking for water. This isn't a history lesson. It's heat stroke waiting to happen. If you genuinely want to see these places, book a private guide through a site like With Locals or Tours by Locals. Go early in the morning before the heat peaks. Small group, slow pace, shaded stops built into the route. You'll actually remember what you learned instead of just remembering how dizzy you felt. Drive your own 4x4 through the jungle. Sounds adventurous, exciting, different. The reality? Those vehicles are often decades old with terrible suspension. You spend 3 hours being violently shaken on unpaved roads. The scenic stops are a roadside fruit stand and a goat. If you have a bad back, neck issues, recent surgery, or any spinal sensitivity whatsoever, this excursion will ruin the rest of your cruise. Not your day, your cruise. Because the pain doesn't stop when the Jeep does. It follows you back to the ship and stays for the remaining 4 nights. I watched a couple on my last Caribbean sailing limp through the rest of the week after a Jeep tour in Jamaica. They couldn't sit at dinner without wincing. They skipped their next 2 ports entirely. The alternative? Book an open-air safari truck where a professional driver handles the terrain. Same jungle views, same photo ops, but with actual suspension and someone who knows the roads. Your spine will thank you for the remaining 7 days.
Let's start with the fee that didn't even exist when most of you started planning your 2026 trips. The new tourist taxes. If your 2026 itinerary includes Mexico, watch out. A new non-resident fee of roughly $42 per person is rolling out. For a family of 4, that's $168 vanishing from your wallet before you even step off the ship. But Europe is even worse. Venice, Santorini, Amsterdam. They're all implementing entry fees just to step off the ship now. You used to pay just port fees. Now you're paying an entry fee on top of that. And here's what makes this particularly annoying. These fees often get added after you've already booked. You see a great fare. You click reserve. And then weeks later, you get an updated invoice with these extra charges tacked on. I had someone email me just last week. They booked a Mediterranean cruise for their family. The original quote was one price. By the time they got their final documents, it was nearly $300 more because of these new fees. This is the new reality of cruising in 2026. Now, the cruise lines are doing something even sneakier with their own prices. Let's talk about Wi-Fi. Cruise lines upgraded their internet to Starlink, which is actually great. The connection is much better now, but they use that upgrade as an excuse to nearly double the price. Just days ago, Carnival quietly hiked their premium Wi-Fi to over $25.50 a day. Royal Caribbean is pushing $30 a day on their newer ships. Do the math with me here. For a 7-day cruise, getting internet for just 2 people is now a $350 to $400 expense. Think about that for a second. $400 used to be the price of an entire cruise ticket. Now it's just the price of checking your email. I remember when I started cruising, Wi-Fi was maybe $10 a day, and the connection was terrible. Now the connection is good, but you're paying premium prices for what feels like a basic necessity. If you're someone who needs to stay connected, and let's be honest, most of us are these days, you need to factor this into your budget from the start. But the most insulting change for 2026 isn't the Wi-Fi. It's what they're doing to your dinner. Gone are the days of unlimited lobster tails in the main dining room. Now, on lines like NCL and Royal Caribbean, If you want a second main course, get ready for a $15 surcharge. They call it reducing food waste. I call it nickel and diming. And here's the thing. This policy forces you towards specialty dining, which has also just raised cover charges to nearly $60 per person. So now a nice dinner for two at one of the specialty restaurants is a $150 event. I've been cruising for decades, and I've watched as the main dining room experience has slowly been chipped away. Menus have gotten smaller, portion sizes have shrunk, and now they're actually charging you for wanting a second helping. The message is clear. If you want the experience cruising used to be known for, you're going to pay extra for it. If the food cuts didn't make you frustrated, this one will. Mandatory gratuities have crept up to $20 per person, per day. For a family of 4 on a 7-night cruise, you're paying nearly $600 in tips. But here's my question. Are you getting better service? No. Stateroom attendants are now servicing nearly twice as many cabins as they did before 2020. I've spoken to crew members about this. They're stretched incredibly thin. So you're paying 30% more for what feels like 30% less attention. Your cabin might get cleaned once a day instead of twice. You might wait longer for room service. Your dining steward is juggling more tables than ever before. This isn't really a gratuity anymore. It's a hidden ticket price increase, plain and simple. And the cruise lines know most people don't factor this in when they see that advertised fare. Now we get to the biggest financial trap of 2026. The drink package. Stop buying this blindly. In 2024, the break-even point was about 5 or 6 drinks per day. You could reasonably hit that and feel like you got your money's worth. But with packages now hitting $110 a day on many ships, the math has completely changed. You now need to drink 8 to 10 cocktails every single day just to break even. Unless you want a hangover for 7 days straight, the package is basically a donation to the cruise line. I've done the math on this many times. I've used the calculators on sites like Cruisely and Cruise Mummy, and for most people, especially those who don't drink alcohol heavily, the drink package makes no sense. For 2026, pay-as-you-go is officially the smarter way to save money. Track what you're actually drinking for the first couple of days. You might be surprised how little you need compared to what that package costs. And here's the hidden cost nobody talks about. Your time. Cruise ships are sailing at over 100% capacity in 2026. Every sailing is packed. Every ship is full. This means the real cost of your cruise now includes standing in line, 30-minute waits for elevators, 45 minutes for anytime dining that isn't any time at all, fighting for a lounge chair by the pool at 7 in the morning. You're paying a premium price to stand in a queue. I've been on ships recently where every meal felt rushed, every venue felt crowded, and every port day felt chaotic. This is the hidden tax of modern cruising, and it's not going away. The final trap is actually the most dangerous one. It's booking blindly. Too many people see a low advertised fare, click reserve, and assume they got a deal. They don't look at what's included. They don't calculate the extras. They don't compare the total cost door to door. And then they're shocked when their final bill is 50 to 100% higher than that original fare. This is exactly what the cruise lines are counting on. They want you to focus on that headline number. That $900 cruise fare looks amazing until you add gratuities, Wi-Fi, drink packages, specialty dining, excursions, and all those new tourist taxes. Suddenly, that $900 cruise is costing you $2,000 or more. So is cruising actually dead? This one is sneaky, and it caught a lot of people off guard in early 2026. Starting March 1st, Norwegian Cruise Line decided that your drink package no longer works on their private island, Great Stirrup Cay. Read that again. You paid $80 a day for an unlimited drink package, but when you step foot on their private island, it doesn't apply. You have to pay cash for every single drink, so you're paying for a package you can't use and then paying again on top of it. Here's the workaround. If your cruise is stopping at Great Stirrup Cay, stay on the ship during lunch and drinks. Grab your cocktails on board, then head to the island just for the beach. Or budget extra cash specifically for that day. Bring $50 to $100 in small bills so you're not caught off guard. Better yet, choose a cruise line that doesn't pull this stunt. Royal Caribbean's private islands still honor drink packages. So does MSC. This is one of those new charges that feels like a bait and switch. Don't fall for it. Gratuities have always been part of cruising, but in 2026, they've jumped again. And this time, it's a big increase. Starting April 2026, Carnival is raising their automatic gratuities to $17 per person per day for standard cabins and $19 for suites. Margaritaville at Sea? They're now charging a whopping $22 per person per day. On a 7-day cruise for 2 people, that's an extra $238 to $308 in gratuities alone. But here's the trick to avoid the hike. Prepay your gratuities right now. If you lock them in before April 2nd, 2026, you'll pay the old lower rate. Even if your cruise is in July or August, you're locked in at the cheaper price. Most cruise lines let you prepay gratuities when you book, or you can call and add it to your reservation. Do it now. Seriously, pause this video and go prepay if you've got a cruise booked. You'll save $50 to $100 just by doing it early. This is one of the easiest ways to save money, and most people don't even know it's an option. The medical center has always been expensive, but in 2026, it's gotten even worse. A basic consultation now costs $150 or more. A simple pack of ibuprofen? They'll charge you $15 for something that costs $3 at the drugstore. If you need stitches, an IV, or anything more serious, you're looking at thousands of dollars. Here's the fix, and it's simple. Pack your own floating pharmacy. Bring seasickness meds, painkillers, Imodium, Band-Aids, antibiotic cream, anything you might need. I keep a small Ziploc bag in my suitcase with all of this. It's saved me multiple times. Also, get travel insurance that covers medical emergencies. If something serious happens, insurance will cover the bill and even evacuation if needed. Never rely on the ship's medical center for minor stuff. Bring your own supplies and avoid those insane markups.